to Football with Cheese. We are finally here. This is the last draft recap video. Today we're going to do the AFC West. So if you're not subscribed, please do so now and enable alerts so you never miss a video. So none of these teams, I would say, had the best draft, but just like the NFC East, I think they all were top 12, top 13 drafts. So let's start with the Chiefs. So they moved down one spot from 31 to 32, got the Eagles' 5th round pick. I love that move. You were taking Josh Simmons anyway. Might as well get a free 5th rounder. Eagles just really wanted Jihad Campbell. So already off to a great start. And Josh Simmons, he's coming off an injury. But before he got hurt, he was looking like a top 10 pick. He's never going to be a great run blocking left tackle. But he's a very good pass blocker, and it's a huge need for the Chiefs. Omar Norman Lott, defensive tackle, Tennessee. This is about where I thought he would go, 2nd, 3rd round. He's undersized. He's only about 6'2", 290. Didn't have the best workout, but the production's there. For someone who's about 290 pounds, he's actually a really good run defender, good pass rusher as well. He will struggle getting off double teams, but he gives effort in every play. So the 2 third-round picks, a lot of people liked. I just wasn't as high on either player as the experts. I just thought these guys were more 4th-rounders, and they were Ashton Gillette, edge rusher, Louisville, and Noah Williams, corner, Cal. God, Cal had a ton of defensive backs drafted. Let's start with Gillette. He's an athletic edge with good size. But the 2 issues I have with Gillette are he was much better in 2023 than 24. Had a down year. And he's got really short arms. So he can struggle getting off blocks. So I thought he was more of a 4th rounder. But the Chiefs really need another edge rusher opposite Karlaftis. And then Noah Williams, corner from Cal. He has incredible ball skills. You watch his highlights, you think this guy's a 1st-round pick. Problem with Noah Williams is he's got good size, but he's not that great at press man. Receivers get off it too easily, and he just had too many penalties. So because of that, I thought he was more of a 4th-rounder, but a lot of people had him going right about this spot. Jalen Royals, 4th round, Utah State wide receiver. If you watch all my videos, or even a few of them, you probably know he was my draft crush. I thought he was a top 32 player. I had him 27th on the board. I thought he'd go late 2nd round. However, he fell, and there are at least a dozen receivers that were drafted before Royals that had no business going ahead of him. So I looked into it, and if you watch my Jalen Royals breakdown video, I'll link it in one of the boxes. He did have an injury. He tore a ligament in his foot. So they were concerned about that. And the other issue was the offense at Utah State is not a pro offense. He didn't have to run the full route tree, but he's a good route runner in the routes that he ran. So I would not have knocked him down for that. I understand if it's a medical issue, but he was healthy at the Senior Bowl, healthy at the Combine. I just think it's crazy that he fell this far. It's the best steal in the draft, and it makes the Chiefs a top 10 draft, maybe top 5, just in that pick alone. And I love their last 2 picks as well. Jeffrey Bassa, Oregon linebacker, probably has to play weak side, but I think he can develop into a starter. He's a good enough athlete. He's good enough in coverage. Really good value in the 5th round. And Brashard Smith, SMU running back, he is undersized because he used to be a wide receiver. So he's only been running back for 1 year. So he's got some upside. And obviously he'll be a good receiver out of the backfield. That's just really good value in the 7th round. Just a great draft for the Chiefs. Next we're going to go to the Chargers. Helps when they're right next to each other. My only real issue with the Chargers is they took Amarian Hampton in the 1st round, a running back. I like Amarian Hampton. I just would have preferred you trade down and get him, maybe even early 2nd round. I didn't see another team in the 1st round that would have taken him. Maybe another team would have moved up for him. We knew the Giants, Falcons, Eagles, for example, were all trying to move up. They all did move up. So I just didn't like the positional value. But Hampton is an absolute stud. He's athletic. He breaks tackles. He will run you over. And he's a great fit in the Jim Harbaugh offense. I just don't love his vision. That's why I knocked him down to an early 2nd rounder. And in the 2nd round, I got Trey Harris, wide receiver, Ole Miss. Thought he'd go a little higher than this. I think it's just hard because the Ole Miss offense is just so different from the offenses that run the NFL. So he's hard to evaluate. But he's a real good possession receiver. He gets off blocks really well. Maybe as good as anyone in this draft, getting off press man. He just didn't run the full route tree because of the Ole Miss offense. But late 2nd round, that's a good value. Jamari Caldwell, nose tackle, Oregon. Another good pick. They really needed a nose tackle. Caldwell didn't have the best workout, but he's a good run stuffer, and he's got a bull rush. Most nose tackles in this draft don't give any pass rush, but Caldwell gave you some pass rush sometimes. He moves better than his workout indicates. Kyle Kennard in the 4th round, very good value. He's a try-hard defensive end, maybe not the best athlete, above average athlete, not elite athlete, and he's got the length the NFL teams want. So probably not a starter, but number 3, number 4 edge rusher, 4th round, really good value, very productive in the SEC. Anytime someone's productive in the SEC and you get him in the 4th round, that's got to be a steal. Keandre Lambert-Smith, wide receiver, Auburn. I thought he was more of a 7th round priority free agent. He's 6'1", 190. He's got good speed, but he was never really used in the return game on special teams. Usually when you're drafting receiver 5th, 6th, 7th round, it's about special teams. So I just thought he should have gone a little later. Oronde Gadsden II, Syracuse. His dad is a former wide receiver of the Dolphins. He moved from receiver to tight end, and it was a really good move. He's a good route runner. He's a receiving tight end all the way. He's not going to give you much in blocking. If he can improve there, he can be a starting tight end. Branson Taylor, listed as a tackle here for Pittsburgh. He's going to play guard in the NFL. We've talked about these type of offensive linemen in other videos. Can't stay at tackle, but good athlete. So hopefully he can develop into a starting guard down the line. R.J. Mickens, safety from Clemson. I thought he'd go 4th or 5th round. They get him in the 6th round. I think he can develop into a starter, especially if it's at too high. I don't think he has the greatest range. He ran well. But if you play a lot of 2-deep safety cover 2, I think he can develop into a starter. And we have Jerkeezy Bridges. He's listed as safety Florida. He could also play corner. I think he's drafted to be the gunner on special teams. It's all about special teams at the end of the draft. All right, we're going to go Denver next, if I can find him. Denver had an up-and-down draft. I love most of it, except for day 2. Jahdae Barron, 20th pick, cornerback from Texas. I think they planned on going receiver or running back, but Jahdae Barron fell to them. He is probably going to play slot corner, and some teams just don't value that position as high as others. But slot corner is becoming more and more important every year. Barron's a good run stopper. He's got good ball skills. Even though this is not the Broncos' biggest need, the value was there, so I love this pick. And then their day 2, to me, these were 2 reach picks. And I think I know why they did it, though. It's all about Sean Payton. R.J. Harvey, UCF running back. The big problem with him is he's 24 years old already for a running back. Of all the positions, that's the one position you want the youngest player possible, because running backs wear down more than any position in the NFL. If it's a quarterback or an offensive line or defensive lineman, I'm okay if they're 24. That's why I didn't have him in my top 100. He is a dog on the field. He's undersized, but he plays bigger than that. He's coming off a great year. He does have an injury history. I'm just shocked they didn't try to at least trade down or take him around later. But he did run a 4.4. And Sean Payton, more than likely, wants to use him in the passing game. If you don't know Sean Payton well, he's coached the Saints for a long time. Now he coaches the Broncos. He likes running backs that can threaten you as a receiver. And the running backs available that I thought would be good fits were more 4.6 guys like Cam Scadaboo or Devin Neal. He obviously wanted a running back that ran a 4.4 that had the speed to stretch the field that way. So that makes sense. I just thought you could have gotten him later. And then Pat Bryant, wide receiver, Illinois. I thought he was more of a 5th or 6th rounder. He's a possession receiver only. He doesn't have great speed. He does run good routes. He does secure the ball quickly, but he's not giving you much after the catch. Clearly, Sean Payton values these guys that run good routes, and he doesn't care if you have good speed or not at the wide receiver position, but he does at running back. So, interesting day 2. I just didn't love either pick, but the rest of the draft was incredible. Savion Jones, late 3rd round, LSU edge. He's 6'5", 280. He's super athletic. He's got good length. He is a bit of a project. He does need to learn more pass rush moves, so he's a little raw, but he can develop into a really good starter, in my opinion. Hugh Robinson, Alabama edge, late 4th round. He's such a unique prospect, and I'll explain. He's an undersized edge rusher, designated pass rusher only. We've talked about those. But he doesn't even have 400 career snaps. Most edge rushers have over 1,000. So I want to call the Alabama coaches and it's like, why did this guy only have 300 and some career edge rushing snaps when he was unbelievable this year? He was one of the best pass rushers in the entire SEC. He mostly played special teams his whole career. So I just want to find that out. But for late fourth round, with his upside, his pass rush ability, great pick. Jeremy Crawshaw, punter, Florida. Okay, they took a punter. Need a punter, take a punter. And then Caleb Lohner, tight end from Utah. He's a basketball player, but a really good athlete. There's another player named Antonio Gates that was the same way. I'm not saying he'll be that, but 7th round, why not? Take a great athlete. Maybe he develops. He's got really good size. He's like 6'6", over 250. So why not? 7th round. Okay, one team left. Another team that had a great draft. Las Vegas Raiders. I had Ashton Gianti as the number 1 player on my board. Would I have taken him number 1? I would not have. But this is such a good fit for Las Vegas. They need a running back as much as anyone. He fits the scheme they're going to run. He's just good at everything. He's one of the best running back prospects I've ever watched. Just a special, special player. And then Jack Besh. They traded down twice, actually, and still got Jack Besh, wide receiver, TCU. He's a possession receiver, runs great routes, but he's good after the catch as well. And he's a better athlete than I thought he'd be. He had a really good workout. It kind of reminds me of Puka Nacua. Okay, I know that's a crazy comp because Puka Nacua is top 5 receiver in the NFL. But when we watch Besh, you see a lot of the same things that Nacua does for the Rams. We'll see, but that could be an absolute steal. I love that pick. Darian Porter, Iowa State corner. I had him 100th on the board. They took him in the 60s. But I get it. He is an athletic freak. Maybe the most athletic corner to come around in a long time. And he's 6'3", 200 pounds. It's unbelievable his agility for that size. But here's the issue. 7 career starts, and he never did much before that. He's not a great run stopper. He was so much better in zone than press. For his size, he should be really good in press. So if he can improve in those areas, then this could be an absolute steal because he is an athletic freak. Then they took 2 offensive linemen back-to-back picks. I love both these picks. Caleb Rogers, Texas Tech. He's listed as a tackle. He's going to play guard. And then Charles Grant, William & Mary. Let's start with Rogers. Really athletic. Both these players are uber athletic. And when you draft Gianti, you have to improve your offensive line. They needed guard help. So Rogers probably starts right away. He did have a lot of penalties at Texas Tech, but I think they'll reduce once he moves to guard. And then Charles Grant from William & Mary. He has the length and the athleticism you want in a left tackle. Probably the long-term answer at right tackle. I thought he'd go much higher than this. I think I had him rated in the 70s. He goes 99th overall. And the Raiders likely drafted 2 offensive line starters, picking 98th and 99th. Dante Thornton, wide receiver, Tennessee. He's tall, he's fast, and he's great at contested catches. So, great 4th round pick. He can't run the full route tree. He'll be a deep threat only, but 4th round, why not? I thought he could go in the 3rd. Tonka Hemingway, South Carolina defensive tackle. Thought he was more of a late round pick. He's a tweener. He's probably going to be an interior pass rusher only. I just thought there were better designated interior pass rushers on the board. Should have taken Aeneas Peebles. J.J. Pegues, I don't know how to say it, Ole Miss defensive tackle. He's an entertaining player. They used him in goal line situations, short yardage, so he played some running back at 6'2", 300 pounds. Probably just a backup 3 technique, rotational interior rusher. And then Tommy Mellott, Montana State, listed as a wide receiver. He actually played quarterback there. He reminds a lot of people of Julian Edelman. Played quarterback in college, but going to be a wide receiver in the NFL because he is undersized. I'm surprised he lasted this long because I heard a lot of teams wanted to use him as a converted slot receiver. So he'll be a fun one to watch. Cam Miller, North Dakota State quarterback. He's athletic. He's a little undersized. He doesn't have the big arm. So at best, he's probably a good backup. But I like backups that are good scramblers, and he is. And then Cody Lindenberg, Minnesota. I thought he'd go in the 5th round. Linebacker. Goes in the 7th round. He'll play special teams, but I think he can be an average starter. So that's just tremendous value. Okay. So all 8 divisions done. To be honest, this was a lot of work because there were about 50, 60 players that I did not watch any film on that were drafted. So I had to go back and watch some of it. There are a few players I just didn't have time. I'd said, oh, it's all about special teams, and kind of just missed them. Some late round picks that most people didn't think would be drafted. But I'm glad I did this. It was a lot of fun. I'm going to have one more video on the draft, just kind of wrap up just my final thoughts. Before we finish, let's go over the consensus draft grade board. We've done it for all the other teams. Chiefs are 4th. I get it. That's about where I'd have them, probably in the 4 to 7 range. Let's see. Raiders 6. I would have had them higher than that. I would have had them in probably the 3 to 5 range. What's surprising here is, wow, the Chargers 23, Broncos 24, no way. I don't understand why people didn't like the Chargers draft, because a lot of people did like Amarian Hampton. That was, to me, the most questionable pick. I would have had them in the top 15 for sure. And same with Broncos. Yeah, their day 2 wasn't great, but the rest of the draft, they did really well. So I'm a little surprised. So the Colts are 22. The Chargers are 23 and the Broncos are 24 on the consensus draft grades. Okay. All 3 of them will probably be in my top 12. Who knows? We'll see if I'm right. We'll revisit this a year from now probably. So make sure you subscribe if you have not. Hit the bell for notifications so you never miss a video. If you enjoyed, please give a like. It really helps the channel. Share this with anyone who loves football. I'm over 100 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. Finally hit it. But we're trying to grow the channel, so make sure you share it. Check these videos if you have not. And I will see you in the next video.